Hello. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Spooky Shadows.
The fire crackled, warmth spread through the room, a cozy Christmas Eve. My family was gathered around the tree. Presents lay scattered beneath it, wrapped in shiny paper and tied with bows. The scent of pine filled the air. Christmas carols played softly on the radio. Everything felt perfect, but something felt off. A chill ran down my spine. I glanced at the window. The reflection of the Christmas tree shimmered back at me. Or was it just the tree? I saw a fleeting shadow, a flicker of movement. I shook my head, blaming my imagination. It was just the wind. We finished unwrapping presents. Laughter filled the room. I tried to shake off the uneasy feeling. I joined in the merriment, forcing myself to feel the Christmas spirit. But deep down, a sense of dread lingered. Something wasn't right. The shadows seemed to be growing longer, darker. As the night deepened, the fire began to die down. The once cheerful glow turned into an eerie flicker. The shadows in the room seemed to dance and writhe. The joyous atmosphere from earlier had evaporated, replaced by an unsettling tension that hung heavy in the air. We decided to call it a night. The house grew quiet. Everyone headed to their rooms. I lay in bed, listening to the silence. It wasn't peaceful. It was filled with anticipation. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to happen. A floorboard creaked outside my room. My heart pounded in my chest. I held my breath, listening intently. Silence. Maybe it was just the house settling. Old houses make noises, but the uneasy feeling persisted. I couldn't ignore the feeling that something was watching me. I tossed and turned in bed. Sleep wouldn't come. The silence was broken by the ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway. Each tick was like a hammer blow to my ears. Every sound, every creak, amplified my fear. The house felt different at night, alive and not in a good way. Then I heard it again, a soft whisper coming from the attic. It was faint but unmistakable. My blood ran cold. The attic was locked. We never went up there. No one was supposed to be up there. Fear gripped me, holding me captive in the darkness. I had to be brave. I crept out of bed and tiptoed towards the attic door. The whispers grew louder. They were faint, like the rustling of silk, but they were definitely there. I pressed my ear against the cold wood of the door. A shiver ran down my spine. What was I hearing? The whispers seemed to be coming from a distant corner of the attic. They were mournful, filled with sadness. My heart raced as I imagined what could be making those sounds. Was it the wind? Or something else? Something more sinister? I wanted to run back to my room, bury myself under the covers and pretend I hadn't heard a thing. But curiosity, or maybe it was foolish bravery, got the better of me. I reached for the doorknob. It was cold and metallic in my hand. As I turned the knob, the whispers abruptly stopped. An eerie silence descended upon the house. The only sound was my own ragged breathing. I hesitated for a moment, fear battling with my determination to uncover the source of the chilling sounds. The attic door creaked open. Dust particles danced in the single ray of moonlight coming from the small window. The air was thick with the smell of decay and forgotten things. I took a hesitant step inside, my heart pounding in my chest. The whispers started again, this time closer. They seemed to be coming from the far end of the attic, where a lone rocking chair sat in the shadows. I froze, my eyes fixed on the chair. It was moving, rocking back and forth slowly, rhythmically. Then I saw her, a woman dressed in white. She sat in the rocking chair, her back to me. Her long black hair cascaded down her back, almost reaching the floor. She continued to rock, the mournful whispers growing louder. Terror washed over me. I wanted to scream, to run, but my legs wouldn't move. I was rooted to the spot, paralyzed by fear. Who was she? And what did she want? I forced myself to move. I took a step closer, then another. The woman in white remained still, her back to me, her whispers echoing in the silence. As I got closer, I noticed something on the floor beside the rocking chair. It was a doll, a porcelain doll, dressed in a tattered white dress, just like the woman. The doll's eyes were open, staring blankly ahead. They seemed to follow my every move. I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. I bent down and picked up the doll. It was ice cold to the touch. As I held it in my hand, the whispers intensified. They seemed to be coming from the doll itself. I dropped it, letting out a gasp of fear. The woman in the rocking chair slowly turned her head. I held my breath, bracing myself for the sight of her face. But it wasn't the face I was expecting. It was the face of the doll, blank, expressionless, and utterly terrifying. Section 6. The Haunting Melody. The doll's eyes seemed to pierce through me, seeing into my very soul. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my ears. As I did, I heard a new sound. A melody. It was faint at first, but it grew louder, filling the attic with its haunting tune. It was a music box. The melody was coming from the doll I had just dropped. I cautiously approached the doll, drawn to its eerie song. The tune was both beautiful and melancholic, like a forgotten lullaby from a distant past. I reached down and picked up the doll again. This time I wasn't as afraid. The music seemed to calm me, to soothe my racing heart. I examined the doll more closely, noticing a small key on its back. Curiosity got the better of me. I turned the key, and the music box inside the doll played even louder. The melody swirled around me, filling the attic with its haunting beauty. As I listened to the music, I felt a strange connection to the doll, to the woman in white, to the attic itself. Section 7. Confronting the Past. Suddenly the room began to spin. The music box melody intensified, becoming deafening. I closed my eyes, overwhelmed by the sensations. When I opened them again, I was no longer in the attic. I was in a grand ballroom. Chandeliers sparkled above, casting a warm glow on the elegantly dressed guests below. Music filled the air, lively and joyous. People danced and laughed, their faces flushed with happiness. Then I saw her, the woman in white. But this time she wasn't a ghostly apparition. She was alive, vibrant and radiantly beautiful. She danced with a handsome young man, her laughter like music to his ears. They were happy, in love. And the doll, the music box, it was a symbol of their love. But their happiness was short-lived. The music stopped abruptly. The laughter died down. A hush fell over the ballroom. Section 8. The Twist. The young man lay on the floor, his eyes lifeless. A scream pierced the air. The woman in white cradled his body in her arms, her face a mask of despair. She clutched the doll, her tears falling onto its porcelain face. It wasn't a ghost story. It was a love story, a tragedy. The woman in white, she wasn't evil. She was heartbroken, trapped in her memories, reliving her pain every Christmas Eve. The room began to spin again. The music faded, replaced by the mournful whispers. When the world stopped spinning, I was back in the attic. The doll was still in my hand, its music box silent. I understood now. She wasn't trying to scare me. She was trying to show me her pain, to share her story. I placed the doll back on the floor next to the rocking chair. As I did, I felt a cold hand on mine. Section 9. A Haunting Christmas Memory. I looked up. Standing before me was the woman in white, but this time she wasn't transparent. She was solid, real, and she was smiling. A single tear rolled down her cheek. She nodded at me, a look of gratitude in her eyes. Then she faded away, along with the rocking chair, leaving behind only the faint scent of lavender and a lingering sense of peace. I left the attic, closing the door behind me. The whispers were gone. The house was silent, but it no longer felt eerie or unsettling. It felt calm, peaceful. The woman in white was finally free from her pain. That Christmas Eve I didn't get much sleep, but it wasn't because I was scared. It was because I couldn't stop thinking about the woman in white, about her love story, about her pain. It was a Christmas I would never forget, a haunting reminder that even in the darkest of times, love can endure, even in death.